Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum all of you. How are you all? Good, alhamdulillah. Okay, beta, in today's class, we will discuss the poem Ozamandias from VIII, written by the poet Percy B. Shelley. Beta, this poem, Ozamandias, is basically a sonnet. Now let's see what's a sonnet. The word sonnet is derived from the Italian word sonetto, which means a little song or a small lyric. So this word sonnet, it's actually an Italian word. A sonnet is a type of 14-line poem. Traditionally, the 14 line of a sonnet consists of an octave or two quatrains making up a stanza of 8 lines and assisted a stanza of 6 lines. So now beta, it's very clear that as the poem Ozamandias is a sonnet, so it also contains 14 lines, isn't it? The first 8 lines are called octave and forms the first stanza. Octave, as we can see, you must have heard the word octa, isn't it? Octagon of 8 sides. Similarly, octave of 8 lines. And the rest of the 6 lines, they form a sestet, another stanza. Before we start the poem Ozamandias, let's know the meaning of the Ozamandias. So, Ozamandias is a Greek word, isn't it? It's a Greek word. Has got an interesting meaning when broken down into 2 pieces. And when we break down this particular word Ozamandias into 2 pieces, so it gives us an interesting meaning. Let's see what's that. That is, Ozi means air and Mandias means to rule. Ozi means air and Mandias means to rule. So Ozamandias literally means ruler of air or ruler of nothing. Before we proceed, let me show you some of the facial expressions that we'll encounter while going through while reading the poem. So the first one is frown. Furrow one's brows in an expression indicating disapproval or displeasure, isn't it? That is what to furrow one's brows. Brows, you understand, na? The eyebrows in an expression indicating disapproval or displeasure, unhappiness, isn't it? Wrinkled lip, feeling or showing open dislike for someone or something regarded as undeserving of respect or concern. It's also a bit same, feeling or showing open dislike for someone or something, to show dislike for someone or something, as if regarding is that it does not deserve any kind of respect or concern. Means being a bit proudy, yes, arrogant. That's it. Okay. Now, beta, let's start with the poem Ozamandias and let's see what the poet Percy Shelley has to say in the first octave. So, this is, I met a traveler from an antique land who said to vast and trunkless legs of stone, stand in the desert, near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and a sneer of cold command tell that it's a sculptor while those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that moved them and the heart that fed. So now, beta, in this particular octave, the poet Percy Shelley, he's describing his meeting with a traveler. Do you understand the meaning of the word traveler? You can also have a look on the right hand side for the difficult words and their meanings. So he's telling that he met a traveler. Traveler is a person who is traveling or who often travels from an antique land. Beta, antique land means an ancient land. It is actually used for the country Egypt. We actually use this word for the country Egypt. So now he is describing his meeting with a traveler, the one who was traveling from an antique land from Egypt, who said, now let's see what this traveler has to say. So who said, two vast and trunkless legs of stone, two very big and trunkless. Trunkless means with lacking the upper body, without the upper body. Stand in the desert. They're standing in the desert, near them and very near to them, on the sand, half sunk. Half sunk means half inside the sand and half outside. A shattered visage lies, a broken face lies. Isn't it very near to these very big and trunkless slabs of stone is lying a broken face, whose frown and wrinkled lip and a sneer of good command. Now the poet is describing the facial expressions of that broken face, of that shattered visage, whose frown. I already told you the meaning of frown, isn't it? To furrow one's brows in a way as if showing some kind of displeasure or unhappiness. Unwrinkled lip, the arrogancy on the face, and a sneer of cold command, as if he was giving a mocking smile, isn't it? Tell that to the sculptor. Now, these expressions on the face, of that particular statue, what are they telling? Tell that as a sculptor. Well, those passions read that the artist who portrayed that particular statue was able to read the passions so well that he portrayed them so well even on the statue, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things. And though the king is no more, but his expressions, his behavior are still alive on that lifeless statue, isn't it? On that broken visage, on that shattered visage, on that broken face. The hand that mocked, and the artist, he portrayed those expressions, those passions so well on that face that it seems like that the hands have made the fun of that particular expressions, and the heart that fed. But though the king, he was very arrogant one, he was very proudy one, but he had a heart that cared for the pupil, that he cared for his pupil, isn't it? Okay, now let's move to the cestet. And on the pedestal, these words appear. Now, what's the pedestal? Pedestal is the base or support on which a statue stands, isn't it? So, on the base of that statue, these words appear. The words of that particular king, they appear. My name is Ozamandias. My name is Ozamandias, King of Kings, and I am the King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty and despair. And have a look on my works, ye mighty and despair. They are so powerful, isn't it? What these words actually show, beta? They show that the king, he believed that his accomplishments will continue to impress everyone to come upon them in future, and his legacy will strike fear into hearts of all passers-by, and his works will keep on flourishing in the same way forever and ever. Nothing beside remains round the decay of that colossal rack. Boundless and bare, the lone and level sense stretched far away. But he was very wrong. He forgot that everything in this world has got an end. Nothing is forever. Nothing remains forever, isn't it? And the traveler, he points out that by these lines, round the decay of that colossal rack, boundless and bare, he actually points out that this inscription, the words written on the pedestal, and the accompanying sculpture and the statue, both are surrounded by decay now. They are no more now. Both, isn't it? And are nothing now. And as far as the eye could see, it could only see the level sand stretched far, far away. The colossal rack of the statue is in the middle of the desert now. Isn't it surrounded by the sand? It is in the middle of the desert. It is nothing now. It's just a broken statue and nothing more. And better, the poet has again used the word boundless and bare here to amplify the scene of the desert. That's it, isn't it? Now, beta, let's see what the irony is. the irony of this poem. But before that, let's discuss that what is the meaning of this irony. Isn't it? It's a kind of poetic device. What's the meaning? Let's discuss that. As a literary device, irony is a contrast between expectations for a situation and what is reality. So it's a comparison between the expectations for a situation, how we expect the things to happen, and what the reality is, and how the things they actually happen. It is actually the difference between what might be expected to happen and what actually occurs. That I just told you now. That I just told you, isn't it? That how we think that how we expect the things to happen and how the things they actually happen. And as we can see in this poem, Shelley contrasts Ozymandias' boastful words, isn't it? His boastful words that my name is Ozymandias and I'm the king of kings, and look on my works, ye mighty and despair. What do these words actually show? They shows the same thing, that he believed that his accomplishments will continue to impress the pupil forever, and his work will flourish forever and ever, isn't it? And now the poet is contrasting, he's actually comparing his words with the image of his ruined statue lying broken and forgotten in the sand. That what he expected and what's actually happening. He actually expected that his legacy will strike fear into the hearts of the pupil of all passers-by forever and ever. But it's not so now, isn't it? And the proof is his ruined statue lying broken and forgotten in the sand. So this is the irony, that the king's perception of his own power is now being mocked by his ruined statue. This is what, that pride and strength are not forever. Everything comes to an end one day and disappear into the sand, and what only remains are our deeds that we commit in the world. That's it. Okay, beta. Some other poetic devices that the poet has used is alliteration. Alliteration is actually the repetition of the same consonant sounds at the beginning of words next to each other. This repetition of sounds brings attention to the lines in which it is used and creates rhythm. As the words has been used in a cult command, k, isn't it? K cult, k command. That's what the repetition of the consonant sounds, isn't it? Then another one is rhyme. You are very familiar with this word rhyme, isn't it? Rhyming words. Words having the same ending sounds. The words that have the same ending sound: land sent, red fed, appear despair, decay away. That's it. Okay, beta. So now we come to an end of this poem. Hope you understood it well. And if you do have any problem, then we may discuss it in our online classes. Now I have got some homework for you. Write the central idea of the poem Ozymandias. I hope so that you can do it now. And another one is write a short explanation of the poem Ozymandias in your own words. So these two, you may take them as homework. Take care. So now let's meet in the next class, inshallah. Till then, stay safe, take care. Jazak Allah.